Hi Leo, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find the video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload my new videos for Leo and Aquarius on Fridays. Ooh. You guys really have the cards flying out today. But like I was saying, the deck that I'm using today is called the Influences of the Angels Tarot. Oh, and there we have all 8 cards. And as always, if you guys are interested in a personal reading, the link is in the description below. Right, and now that we have all your cards out and I'm just taking a moment to line them up, I do want to remind you guys that if you enjoy the reading, the best way to let me know if you either enjoyed the reading or if you really found it to resonate with you is to leave a like or a comment. But with that being said, your overall energy here is that of the Nine of Wands. Now the Nine of Wands is very powerful energy, mostly because when I see the Nine of Wands, I feel like there's something that's really been bothering you lately that you're sort of healing from. Right, because the Nine of Wands is the Wounded Warrior card. So I feel like you guys are doing a lot of inner work right now, a lot of soul searching, a lot of healing. And I feel like this person here is, like you can see that the person that's depicted here has like white hair and is a little bit older in their life. So I feel like you may be dealing with problems, or rather things that you may have had for a while. Sort of running patterns or themes that you're trying to detach yourself from. And I see that you guys are getting a lot of success. It's just a matter of listening to your intuition. Because looking at your sort of cards over here, I'm really noticing this Ace of Swords with this High Priestess in reverse. Now the Ace of Swords talks about a new beginning in clarity, a new message sometimes. But I think more than that, it's a new beginning for you guys in everything that's mental. So I feel like a lot of you guys are really maybe dealing with obsessive thoughts, sort of thoughts that come in, come out, or thoughts that you haven't exactly given the time yet. And I feel like you've been sort of putting things on the back burner for a long time, but now is sort of the time to really take active action on sort of bettering yourself and the patterns in your life, because I'm seeing the High Priestess here, right? And the High Priestess talks about your intuition. And for a lot of you guys, I feel like you guys have a really powerful, strong intuition, but because it's in reverse, you're not really making full use of it. I feel like you guys get these intuitive messages and these sort of gut feelings, but you're not really letting those guide you almost. It's like you have a hunch on something, but because the evidence doesn't support it, you don't go forward with the action that you know you're supposed to do. And I feel like if you just follow your gut instincts for a little bit more in this coming period, you're going to start to see a lot more clarity. Things are going to start to work out and things are going to click, I feel, for a lot of you guys. But sort of like going back to this energy over here, it's very interesting because we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the Page of Pentacles to me oftentimes talks about a message that has to do with some kind of stability, right? And for me, that can mean anything from work to school to perhaps some kind of promotion at work or some kind of a money that comes to you, perhaps from like a family member or something of the sort. But I certainly feel that there's a message of, or rather a message that comes attached with money. Yes, but because it's in reverse, it's almost as if you were receiving this and no longer, or you were expecting to come into some money and it didn't happen. I'm getting for a lot of you that you were receiving a sort of like a monthly sort of money supplement, and perhaps this month it doesn't come in, or maybe you're like receiving some help from your family and now they've abruptly cut that off. Or perhaps for some of you, you were sort of gunning for a promotion at work and they ended up choosing someone else, or things didn't exactly go through. And I'm getting that a lot because you have the Ten of Cups here, and the Ten of Cups talks about happy home and happy, or rather emotional fulfillment, right? And the fact that it's in reverse makes me feel like that's very blocked right now. I think that you guys are definitely have this goal in mind, but there's some kind of a blockage that's keeping you from it. I do want to point out that we have the Hierophant and the Hermit here, which are the cards of Taurus and Virgo respectively, so you guys might be dealing with earth signs, possibly at work. But I feel like this part here certainly was about work and your home stability, whereas this part here is more about your more emotional side, right? In particular, love. Because I'm looking at the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups to me talks sometimes about soulmates, but more than that, sort of the feeling of childlike wonder and nostalgia. So I feel like recently you guys have encountered someone who makes things feel fresh and light and sort of happy, like when you were a kid, or perhaps when you were falling in love for the first time. And I feel like a lot of those energies are really nice and serve to uplift you. But at the same time, there's sort of this energy here with the Hermit card. And I do see that the Hermit is in reverse, but the Hermit in the upright sort of talks about going within and doing a lot of introspection, right? So I feel like the fact that this Hermit card is here means one of two things for two different groups of you guys. Either you're in the first group and you're refusing or just haven't taken the time to do this inner soul searching here with the Hermit card, and you really do need to spend some time and allot yourself that time and energy to be able to sort of get a little bit more intimate with your self and the way you think and feel. Or if you're in the second group, you've sort of taken those steps already, and now you're coming out of that energy and going into a more sociable energy, a more like interpersonal energy, because the Hermit card is all about yourself and going deep within yourself. So I feel like now that you've sort of explored yourself a little bit, you're a lot more equipped to handle relationships, in particular like interpersonal relationships, platonic or romantic or otherwise. I feel like a lot of you guys are starting to see some huge advancements in love and in friendships and in work. And I feel like a lot of the things that you were talking about, or a lot of the things that you're feeling, were hard for you to articulate, because I've noticed that when I'm talking about this topic, it gets a little bit difficult for me to really put what I'm trying to say into words. And I feel like that's kind of an energy that you were in, but no longer, because we have the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords is clarity. I feel like you guys are going to stop sort of overthinking things a little bit and come into this clarity. And when you do that, you're going to sort of come into this High Priestess in the upright energy. Because the High Priestess in the upright is, again, your powerful intuition. And I feel like so much of this has to do with your inner thoughts and feelings and emotions, because here we have the King of Cups, right? And the King of Cups is somebody who is very emotionally mature, is able to feel their emotions and express their emotions, but not be controlled by their emotions. They've striked up a balance with that, and they're able to empathize and understand other people's emotions, I should emphasize. So I feel like I shouldn't say, like, you're not emotionally immature, that's for sure. But I feel like you could stand to do some soul searching here to understand some of the more complicated and sort of tangled up, messy emotions that we all have inside us. And I feel like when you take the time to understand the way you think and feel, it'll help you understand how other people think and feel as well. And I'm looking at this Hierophant card, and the Hierophant talks a lot about traditions, right? And one of the big traditions that I get when I think about the Hierophant card is marriage. So I feel like right now you guys may not be the very best equipped to enter sort of a marriage relationship, and like a lot of those ideas of like committing to perhaps the wrong person might scare you and worry you, as they should for anyone. But I feel like once you sort of take the time to really pursue all of this emotional enlightenment, you're going to be far more equipped to be able to get into relationships like that. And I feel like overall you're going to be able to really tackle all kinds of relationships, like I said, platonic or romantic or otherwise. So I think the main key takeaway here is that once you do this inner work, you're going to be able to really master interpersonal connections. But that was your reading first time around, Leo. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or a comment, because it's the best way for me to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my Leo videos on Fridays. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other readings that I have up on the channel. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.